No. I don't. I unfortunately don't have time anymore to read books, and I don't have any more time to write them either. That's something that people ask me over and over again. And I'm doing 25, 30 hours a week on the radio, and my publication, which it runs probably 100 pages a week, and it's enormously prolific, and it's to make people understand and wake up and teach, and so. I don't have time to read those things, but people publish books either for recognition or to make money, and there's very little money made in the book writing business. If you happen to be a famous author and you write 20 or 30 books, you do become wealthy, but there's not many of them that do that, and even getting published is extremely difficult. But it's usually for recognition. That's what people want. And how-to books. How-to is very simple. I could explain it in a couple of paragraphs. And what you do is you never trust anybody. And you have to go with the trend. And if you're not with the trend, I don't care what it is, you're going to be a loser.
So basically some of these books may not be worth the price of the book.
I don't think so, and a lot of them get into technical things, and historically, technical things have worked relatively well. But you can't have technical uses or cycles or waves or theories like Kondratiev. You can't use them when the markets are being rigged by a corporatist fascist society, government, etc. And so you can't use short-term and even sometimes medium-term technical indicators. And you can use them long-term because it's pretty hard to alter them. A good example right now is the USDX. It's in a perfect head and shoulders and it's broken down. The dollar's going lower. You don't have to be a genius to figure it out. But most of the people who evolve today in the technical aspects of the market are having an extraordinarily hard time, and most of them are wrong most of the time, which is costing investors a lot of money. People should never trade in the market unless the trend is gone that they've been following. The reason why is you can't make money. I was a broker for 28 years. I had 6,000 clients. I was the largest gold-silver stockbroker in the world. You don't trade. You don't think up what you want to do because you can't beat the pros. That's all they do for a living. I was a trader for 25 years of those 28 years. I know. And that's what I try to pound into people's heads. What is a trend? Gold and silver are going up. They've been going up for 11 years. They're going to continue to go up. Why? Because our financial system is being deliberately destroyed. Right, Stan?
Right, Bob. Go ahead.
No, really, that's the bottom line. And it's nothing difficult to figure out. You buy gold and silver coins and shares, and you forget it.
And you don't want,
and maybe you won't.
And you don't watch them every day because you get scared. You get emotionally involved. You take your position. You sit on it. When the time comes, when everybody's buying gold and silver, that's the time to sell. But that's going to be a long time from now. Very, very few people are really doing what's necessary to protect themselves.
Yeah. So basically, just pay attention to what Bob is saying and just stick to the basics.
Well, that's why I have Bob on here twice a week, actually both afternoon and evening programs. I think his advice is good. If I didn't, I wouldn't have him on.
That's why I subscribe to his newsletter, because you take great stock in it, and it is very good. So basically, I should stay away from some of these so-called experts and just stick with the basics and what I know already.
Make life simple. Make it simple. Stay out of harm's way. That's the way you guarantee that your assets will be saved. And you might get super lucky and make some money.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. Again, our number is 1-888-24-LIBERTY. 1-888-24-LIBERTY or 464-8295. If you have a question for Bob Chapman of the International Forecaster. But we're suddenly seeing some really amazing times now. What's happening over in Europe? It sounds like, a lot of the crisis we had here a few weeks ago seems to be quieting on down. And suddenly Greece has been able to borrow money, and suddenly Portugal apparently is borrowing money. And so all these countries, it's got into trouble because they borrowed too much money or borrowing more money. How do you get out of trouble from, it's like spending yourself into prosperity? It's pretty hard to do. What's really going on over there? What's really going on over in England? It sounds like they're going to begin to cut back dramatically on the money that they've been putting into the healthcare system, are going to begin cutting back on the services given to the elderly. Is that right?
It's right. And they all have one thing strongly in common. The people who run their countries are part of the Brotherhood of Darkness. Now, what of that result would you expect? In Greece, they have a Bilderberger, a Luminist, who runs the government. I was on radio twice, television once, and I was front page on an editorial on the biggest newspaper in the country. Tell them the same thing I tell you. And I said, you're going to get sold out by your prime minister. And this is why. And so they did. They got the loans, and now they're going to be in depression for the next 30 years. And, they'll just suck the country dry. They'll have them sell everything in the country that's owned by government off for 20 or 30 cents on the dollar. And they're going to sell all their islands off to pay bankers who created the money out of thin air to lend them by buying their bonds. And I explained all that. We had a writer who's very famous go to Greece to write a story for a national magazine, and he, I guess, figured, and I don't know him, I guess he figured that the best place to start would be out in the wilderness. So he went to a monastery in northern Greece, and he started asking all these questions. And the monks told him, look, this is on radio and television, and in the newspapers, and we subscribe to the International Forecaster. We know everything that's going on. And that is a true story.
All right, let's go to Ron, who's calling from Eastern Washington. Hi, Ron. How are you doing? Have a quick question for us?
Well, just a comment. I thought the best way to rob a bank was to own it.
You're absolutely right.
To rob a bank is to regulate it.
Okay.
That's what I said earlier to Stan.
Hang on there. We'll be back in just a moment. Back here in just a moment. Our guest has been Bob Chapman of the International Forecaster. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the most dangerous times of our nation's history. The whole system is coming unraveled. They're trying to put it together, but they're doing all the wrong things.